It is with a very warm heart that we welcome you to today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumoyiwa Matuloko. Ardent viewers, ardent followers of this program will recall that last week we had two gentlemen in the house who came to shed light on TIN validation, taxpayer identification number validation. That is when we are talking about importers doing their business the way they know how to do it, within a custom service, with the CBN, but then within the comforts of their office in this e-regime, in this paperless regime. And the two gentlemen are still with us here today. Mr. Kunle Olley is Deputy Director with the Federal Revenue Service in the ICT department, while his colleague, Mr. Malik Tukur, is an Assistant Director with the Modernization Group and is also a business analyst with the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Gentlemen, we welcome you once again to Tax Matters. You have used several terms.
Yes.
Update, validate, authenticate, yes. Single window. Of course, we heard you clearly. You said updating is updating your records with the FIRS. Validation is when I go to the single window portal and I want to validate my records, my TIN number, which will only be done if the records are the same as I submitted to the FIRS. So the question now arises: is it every organization that has a TIN that has to go and do this updating now, or how do I know that I need to go and update?
Yes.
What is the trigger?
Okay, thank you very much. The trigger now, it's importation or those dealing with forex, because you need to identify yourself in CBN with a TIN number, as well as when you want to import, you need to identify yourself with a TIN number. So the trigger for now, right now, as we talk, it is primarily for importers, exporters, and brokers, primarily. But of course, as the nation progresses, we will definitely require every taxpayer to update his record for the purpose of notifications, sending notifications to the taxpayer, and vice versa, correspondence with the taxpayers. But for now, it's primarily for importers, exporters, and brokers.
Okay. Mr. Olley, the Joint Tax Board, which comprises of the FIRS and the Apex and all the state boards of internal revenue, is currently seriously pursuing a taxpayer identification number scheme. When that takes root, are we going back to the drawing board?
No, we are not going back to the drawing board as regards to the Joint Tax Board implementation of the another unique TIN identification. What we only do is just that way. For every in the system, we already have the TIN number, which we say the existing one created by FIRS. Now, the Joint Tax Board will get that information and generate one-to-one another TIN for the Joint Tax Board. So that means for each taxpayer, you are likely, for those who are existing, you are likely to have two TIN numbers. And these two TIN numbers is acceptable in doing any transaction. You go to the bank, it will be acceptable, just like the NUBAN, the way the NUBAN actually implemented the old account and the new one for banks. So the same thing is going to happen. So you can continue to use your old TIN numbers, or you prefer to use the new TIN number. So there's not going to be any problem with the taxpayers. But as the time goes by, just like the bank also did, we might start restricting. That could be, there will be a lot of awareness creation before that will be stopped, and then the new one will now take total effect. But anywhere you go and transact, you can always transact with either of the two TIN number, it does not affect the taxpayers.
You don't have an idea when that cutoff date will be?
The cutoff date, we first for the acceptance first. By the time we first of all, we have not even fully informed the taxpayers of the new TIN number. So when they are fully informed, they now know that the old one and the TIN number are actually in place, and we see the acceptance of the two new numbers. Then we can now see, and as they are doing the transaction at the back end, we can be seeing people who are already shifted to the new TIN number. So if we now get a particular percentage, we can now say, okay, now fine, it's time for us to say, okay, now we give you more based on the usage of people using the new TIN number. Because okay, now we expect that in so time, almost everybody will have complied with the use of the new term. So we just specify that time, give some room, and also do more of advert and awareness creation for them to actually move. But that's left for us. It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect them. We will actually handle that in-house. And to tell you now, fine, for those new TIN number, the number I mentioned to you, about 272 people, 272,000, they already have the new TIN numbers. What we're trying to do is how to communicate it to them, which our also another department is trying to handle, because they need to know they are existing. But for the new taxpayers, they will get only one. There will not be any old. They will just get one TIN number, and they can continue to use. The focus is more about the existing corporate taxpayers, who will definitely have the two numbers. Do you understand? So so there won't be any issue, just like the new ban.
Mr. Malik, still talking about updating and validating. Is it every time that the information, the details about an organization changes, that it has to approach the FRS for updating? What I mean is this: if we move our office, even within the city, within Abuja, within Port Harcourt, within Kano, do we have to come and update? If I use my own person as an example, I used to have an email address. Later on, I decided that it would be good for business for my staff to open in the morning and check the mails coming in. And I opened another one that only I will open. Is it every time that my details change that I have to go and update?
Well, the number one, it will depend on the taxpayer. I have seen a situation where, well, it happens, some email can be hacked. That means you may not even have access. It's your own email, but since it's hacked, you don't have access, and you need to change or retrieve it, revive it. Yes, so for quick answer is, assuming you change physical address, you are in Wuse, you move to Garki, your email remain the same. Your email remain the same. Depending on your own discretion, at your own discretion, you will need to update it with the FIRS. But for the purpose of jurisdiction, this is internal. Wuse, for instance, has a tax office. Garki has another tax office. So at your discretion, if you move from Wuse to Garki, you need to inform the tax office that I have moved. Otherwise, they will still be requesting you to file returns in your former office when you have moved. So it will be good to notify the tax office if you have moved physical address. But for change of the email address, my advice is, yes, you need to update it. Because assuming you change the email and you import, the transactions, the notification, has it arrived, when did it arrive, will be sent to your former email which you are no more using. So you see, you will miss out. Okay. But if you have updated it with the new one, you will get it in the new email.
Okay. If my records are up to date and I go to validate and the FRS validates my TIN number, will it be smooth sailing going forward with the customs and the CBN?
Oh, yeah. The process is this. that information actually is more required by custom and CBN because of the electronic. See, the CBN also implemented the electronic form M to use to, first of all, control the foreign reserves and exchange. It's very, very important for them. But the only thing that FRS provides is the form of identification, which is the thing. So once that thing, and also the Nigerian custom, because they want to communicate to the taxpayer or to the importers, so they are actually requesting for the email and the GSM number to be able to. But for FRS itself, we have not made it mandatory. For those who are not importers, we're not insisting on GSM number or email now. Do you understand? So based on that, most of the issues we're actually getting, they are actually from the importers, not from the general public. Now there's a link between FRS server and that of the Nigerian custom, such that once you have provided that information, and what we just do, we take that information and we move it to Nigerian custom. Once it gets there, actually the ball is in the court of those who are operating the single window portal. So once we are able to do that, once the link that we are assuring that the link actually between us and them will not fail, we have actually provided two different separate links between us and them. So if one fails, the other one fails, while we're making sure that we quickly revive the other one. And so the information moving from here, once it's updated, it's moved automatically to the single window platform where Nigerian Customs takes over all the other processes. Meanwhile, because actually everything started from FRS, you still see the taxpayers, the importers calling us most often. That's about to say that there's at the second stage where after we have moved the information, that is the record of the taxpayer, to Nigerian custom, that's where actually our control stops. But we still go ahead, because if you look at this step, you see that at this stage there's supposed to be a password that we're supposed to send, that will send to the importer. And that we cannot access that. So most of them, if they don't check their email, they might be complaining that, wait, they don't know the next thing. And at the same time, we will have loved, but that is for security reasons, we will have loved to be able to access their own email so that we can actually finish the process for them. But it's not acceptable, because it's their email. That means they have to release their own password so that we can go into the system and check for them. But what we have put in place for us to be able to assure, at least on the part of Federal Inland Revenue Service, that we have a very good link between us and Nigerian Customs, and we have our staffs. Even in some of our ITOs, that we actually station people to help the importers in case they are having issue, irrespective of. And we also have a team that when they are actually having issue, they can always call and we'll resolve it. On my system there, I try to resolve with my team. We have also assigned people in especially areas like Apapa. We actually assign people there who will sit down in case they have issue. But for FRS, we have a link, which about two between us, and because the information we get is being moved to them. So, and we have record of those information that are not going. So once they are now going, we look at the issues why they are not going.
Still talking about the little issues involved in this validation. Okay. People trying to log on to the customs portal to do what they have to do, and to the CBN portal to do what they have to do, all within the single window. Can I do everything from my office, or do I have to go to the FRS office?
No, for the trade portal, you don't have to go to FRS office. Right from your office with your internet connectivity to the trade portal, you can complete all the transactions.
But then why are people complaining, and why do they get instant reprieve when they go to your office?
To our office, because most of these things they started, say in our office, that's actually where they actually made their updates on their information. And they are not aware that the information has been passed to the trade portal. So because of that, they will still be coming to our office. But after they have updated their team, the information is passed to the trade portal, which they can start doing in from their office anyway.
Okay. Maybe what we should do is to dig deeper. What are the common errors that may be responsible for people having difficulty moving on? What are the common errors?
Thank you very much. Really, there are common errors that we do make in data entry. And we have seen one in the morning. It is, just one dot was missing.
Malik dot Tukur.
That's right.
If the dot is missing, there's a problem.
There is a problem. So the taxpayer need to know or need to make sure when he or I is updating TIN number that it is captured properly. Now, so one of them is that dot. Another one is even space.
Definitely.
You have taxmatters.com. You give space. The system will take that space as a character.
Definitely.
So even that space is not needed.
Yeah, for the normal email transaction, if I send a mail and I don't key in your email address correctly, I get mailer demo.
Exactly.
And so what's the problem?
That is it. So but in this case, they will say they did not get email from FIRS.
Definitely, because it did not come.
So they did not get their password, which they will use to log in.
Yeah.
So that is on the email. Then on the GSM number, we call it mobile number. That's why we are emphasizing mobile, not telephone number. There are many formats of capturing the mobile number. Some used to write +234 808 or 80 something. There is the ordinary one 080 or 707. So it will be confusing. You can see that +234 has added
three more
14
characters.
14 numbers,
3 more characters.
Instead of 11.
instead of 11. So the system will not recognize it. It's a common error, but you can see it's not that common.
So it should be 080 33 033 282
Exactly.
or 081 224 552.
That's right.
No 234.
Yes, that 11.
No plus.
No plus. No landline as well.
Yeah.
We are used to 01009 Abuja 523 like that. 01790.
Not acceptable.
Not acceptable. So if you use that, or you remember that in the FRS I gave them a landline, try to change it. It is one of the causes that will make the transaction fail.
He has to go back to the base. That is, go back to FRS, update his records. Otherwise, he cannot validate.
You cannot validate. These are some of the errors.
Input errors of putting O instead of 0.
That's right. It's another.
So you'll be saying
O is a letter. Zero is a figure.
You'll be saying I've done it correctly. This is 08. You are in your mind. You are reading 080, not knowing that way. And the man that keys in actually keys in 0 O as in letter 80. So there's no way the system will also capture that as an error, and you might not get validated.
Yes.
How long it go take for you to clear my container?
I dey do am, Oga. Then say we go bring our team.
Our team? Which team?
Custom don change, Oga. I never say
I want to concern FRS with my business. I will talk to Gaba myself. You are fired.
Oga.
Oga Gaba, which one be this our team again?
The taxpayer identification number now the only way where you fit take do business with Nigerian Customs Service now. You fit process your own free tin sharp for any FRIS office.
Soji.
You just sack me, no.
Get our team now.
This message now from Federal Inland Revenue Service and Nigeria Customs Service.
Welcome back. The program is still Tax Matters, and we have two guests in the studio, Mr. Malik Tukur and Mr. Kunle Olley. The basis of all that we have been discussing in the last two episodes is TIN. TIN is what Oliver the Cook of blessed memory will call Bonnie identity. But just in case you don't have TIN yet, how do you get it?
What does it take to acquire TIN? For corporate bodies, you need the CAC registration number, the name of the company, the registered address, that is, registered address with CAC, if different, your business address, the date of incorporation, your line of business, the GSM number of a principal officer, and the email address of the company. For individuals and enterprises, you need the name of the individual, name of employer, a form of identification, which might be any of the following: your staff ID, international passport, national ID, and national driver's license. You also have to provide the date of employment, your line of business, the GSM number, and your email address.
And in case you need to visit the FRS office for this matter or for other matters, which is the nearest FRS office to you?
Welcome to Know Your Tax Office. This week, we're taking you to the FRS Utako office in Abuja and the Ikeja Lagos office. Are you in Abuja? Do you know that the FRS is now in Utako? The office is located at Wilder Plaza, plot 903 Obafemi Awolowo Road, precisely the Utako Market Road that houses most of the luxury bus operators. You can also access the office from the Jabi Park Road on your way to Arab Contractors. The building houses the Utako Micro and Small Taxpayers Office, as well as the Individual and Enterprises Income Tax Office of the FRS, which is an office unique to the Federal Capital Territory because the Federal Inland Revenue Service collects personal income tax from residents of the Federal Capital Territory. Now to the Ikeja office in Lagos. Do you reside around Ogba, Ikeja, Agege and its environs? The Ikeja Micro and Small Taxpayers Office is located at Wylam's Place, 106 Adeniyi Jones, 41B bus stop, Ikeja, Lagos.
We are coasting hope. And this last question, I want to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer it. NAFDAC, Bureau of Statistics, FRS, Customs, CBN. I have this sneaky feeling that it's Big Brother watching over me. You want everything about the taxpayer. Do we have any cause to be afraid?
I don't think you have any.
You want to answer the question?
Yeah, I don't think you have any cause to afraid, because actually all these things we're trying to do is actually targeted towards providing service for the taxpayers. We want the taxpayers at the comfort of their home or in their offices to be able to transact with FRS, with CBN, with Nigerian Customs, instead of going from one location to the other, to the other, to the other. Just look at example in Lagos. Assuming you are in Lagos, just to move between one location to the other, the office will have closed. But just stay in the comfort of your office. You are able to transact all these business, all these transactions with all these companies in your home. I think that's it. So it's not about Big Brother monitoring everybody. It's actually about providing service to the taxpayers and to people doing business in the country.
That makes me very happy, and I think all viewers, all taxpayers will be happy. Are you afraid of that question, sir?
No, I'm not. No, it's okay. By definition, the single window is just a facility which allows parties involved in trade, to lodge standardized information, across entities, CBN, Customs, FRS, NAFDAC, MBS. So it's really to ease the burden of the tax.
It's also about having the right information for planning.
That's right.
For planning, for budgeting. Do you understand? To manage also. So on the part of government. So this also is what is going to afford, and also to remove duplications.
Okay.
Of you say custom registering as Kuda number, FRS doing another number, CBN. And CBN doing another number. So it brings that it brings that ammunition.
And it's on that comforting note that will draw the curtains on today's episode of Tax Matters. We've been talking about taxpayer identification number. Specifically, we've been talking about how it is used in facilitating importation, in making life easier for businessmen who do business with Nigerian Customs and the CBN on a daily basis. And our guests have been Mr. Kunle Olley of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and Mr. Malik Tukur, also of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. On your behalf, we say thank you to them. Gentlemen, we thank you for coming on to Tax Matters. We hope that in about a quarter from now, about 3 months, we'll be able to bring you back and give you feedback and tell you that your viewers, your taxpayers are happier. Thank you once again for coming. Viewers, we thank you once again for joining us on today's episode of Tax Matters. Please join us next week on this same station for a fresh episode of the program. Thank you for watching.